Oh boy, I can feel the heat coming down on me. I ditched court and now they're looking for me. Okay, what do I do? What do? Oh, I know. Let's play some games to pass the time. Need for Speed Unbound. Just releasing this past November. It's a racing game. Up until it actually came out, no one actually knew anything about it or if it was even going to release because EA for some reason was completely silent about it. But that didn't stop rumors from popping up about a next gen Need for Speed last year, and people would just call it Need for Speed 2022. Boy, would it have been awkward if it didn't end up actually coming out. But no, EA finally revealed Need for Speed Unbound to the world, roughly 1 month before release, and right away, people were thrown off by the art design. No, not the graphics, they look good even though it's just a small improvement over Heat's graphics, except in the reflections and at night. That's a pretty huge improvement, and all at 4K 60 FPS. No, they mean the character designs, and it's just... I don't mind cel shading. Spider-Man the new animated series, Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker, and Beautiful Joe all use cel shading, and they all look really good. But here, they do cel shading in the driving effects and characters, but they don't go all the way with it, so it's kinda just okay. It's not too distracting once you get used to it, but I would have preferred if they just went all the way and the whole game was cel shaded if they wanted to do cel shading, or at least have an option to turn it off. So, jumping in... the heck is this music? Jumping in, you notice a distinct lack of Lucas, Anna, and the player from Need for Speed Heat. Bruh. They have that big teaser at the end with Mercer still possibly being alive and Torres cracking down even more on street racing, but they leave all that behind to start a new story with kind of similar beats. It's kind of a shame because Lucas, Anna, and your character were pretty cool. I say kind of a shame because your character in Unbound and Rydell are kind of cool too. Okay, starting off, you have a choice of 3 cars. The game calls them junker cars. You have a Dodge Charger, Nissan Silvia, and for some reason a Lamborghini Countach. Come on, no matter what the game says, a Lamborghini is not a junker car. But to keep it with my tradition, I chose the Silvia. It's always a Nissan, and it started with Midnight Club LA with the Nissan 240 SX, and then again in Heat, so it's kind of my thing now. So you just go around building it up to race spec and customizing it and get a background on everyone. Rydell was sort of the father figure to your character and Yaz, as he took both of you in. No, you two aren't related in any, by the way, but you guys run a mechanic shop called Rydell's Rides, just like Lucas and Anna. And Rydell is also a retired racer, just like Lucas. Well, after some time, Yaz meets some rich people that Rydell isn't too fond or trusting of, and tension starts brewing between the two of them, and it all ends with her and her new crew robbing the shop, including your car. So completely nothing like Anna and Lucas. Then the game jumps to 2 years later, and the shop is completely emptied out with nothing left, and it's a shadow of its former self. And the only thing you do now is give people rides. But it all changes when you take someone named Tess to a car meet and see that it's run by Yaz, and she's still driving my car. But before she's able to catch his hands, the meet is interrupted by the cops, so naturally you get chased, with the Rydell's Rides logo plastered all over. So with Yaz finally returning after 2 years, you go to Rydell and convince him to get back in the racing scene, with some backing from Tess. So once you get your car, you get told how Yaz's race event is happening. Every weekend you have a qualifier and then a race event with you needing to have a certain spec of car to enter, so you have 5 days to get ready and you're off into the world. Now, you just can't go off and do any race you want. Certain races are locked to a certain grade, like you can only enter some races with a grade B car or grade A, and so on. Sounds pretty simple to get around, right? All you gotta do is get 2 cars, one with an A grade and one with a B grade, and go back to the garage whenever you want to switch them. But nope, because going back to the garage moves time forward to night, and you end up locking yourself out of those races. So what do you do once you get up to an A-class car? Nothing. You just do the A-class races or detune your car back to the B-class in between days until it's time for the race event. So right off the bat, this hand was way better than Heat. You're not as grippy or stiff, it's much more easier to drift, but also a lot more easier to send yourself flying off the track. But the game handle is much more smoother. The 60 FPS definitely helps. I actually like how it handles sometimes. Playing the game in free roam at night definitely reminds me of Midnight Club. I also crash into NPCs just as much too. New feature added though is side bets. You can bet with another racer for extra cash. You just gotta beat them. But with only a limited number of retries, depending on your difficulty, you need to pick your battles wisely because the AI can be pretty tough. It can actually be a while until you win your first race if you don't upgrade your car. Throughout the first races, I never really finished much higher than third. I was either third or fourth, but once you get your car upgraded, winning is pretty common now. Too bad almost all the races are ruined by the cops though. Oh my gosh, dude. The amount of cops patrolling is insane. They are everywhere. Every race just seems to have a cop chase and it always seems unavoidable, especially in free roam. It's really easy to get boxed in while trying to do a mission because they just spawn right in front of you or behind you, sometimes even on the objective, completely blocking you from starting it. It's so bad. Like one time I got stuck and couldn't move when I needed to pick someone up because there was 4 cops back to back in front of me, headed my way, and 3 more coming from behind me. It is absolutely ridiculous just how many cops there is. It's to the point where you spend most of your time driving off-road because there's a bunch of cops blocking your way, or just hiding with your lights turned off while waiting for them to slowly pass by. And after that, you still get forced into pursuit because they still spot you, forcing you even further away from where you need to be. This is absolutely ridiculous and kind of ruins the flow of the game, even to the point where I just have to end the night with races still available because I could just not get to them without being bombarded with cops from every direction and getting forced into a pursuit every 5 minutes. The only good thing is that you're at least able to take them down. Not like in Heat when you hit them and your car is the one that gets damaged instead. Nah, screw Heat's police chases. In Unbound, it's much better. A far cry from Most Wanted's police chases, but it's tolerable. But the higher level cars are still kind of a pain to take down. I'm kind of annoyed and done with them though, just because of how many pursuits I've been in, either from racing or because they just randomly decide to spawn right in front of me. So they're tolerable, but barely. The open world is pretty cool though. It's cool how it goes from a suburban area to metropolitan and then the mountains. It's fun to drive around and look at everything. It really strives to make you feel like a Need for Speed Unbound. Throughout the game, you get tasked with picking up wanted racers and taking them to their safe house while avoiding the cops. Doing this unlocks safe houses to go to when traveling the world. And on the other end, you get these sort of time trial previews where you have to deliver a high-end car for a customer. If it's from Rydell, it's just a simple time trial, but it's from Tess, it's a high-speed chase where you not only have to lose the cops, but also lose them and get to your location while keeping the car health above a certain level. It's easy depending on your heat level, but getting there in pristine condition might not always be possible. The car sounds in the game are also pretty good. I like how most of them sound, and it helps that you're able to customize the sound too, as well as do an engine swap. Customization is pretty much the same as Heat's though, but now you have to buy upgrades for the garage before you're able to buy them yourself. And by that I mean to get access to, let's say, the pro parts, you need to buy them for the garage first, and then you can buy them for your car, and yes, it comes out of your pockets and not the garages. It's not cool because then you just end up paying more for the parts, and modifying the car exterior is cool as always though. You know, bumper, hood, side skirt, spoiler, all that stuff, or just buy a body kit, and surprisingly some are pretty decent and, dare I say, cool. The smoke tire can also be changed, and the smoke tire effects are cell shaded, and because they're cell shaded they can have 2 sets of colors, and it adds quite a lot to the car because of it. You know, now you see what I mean when I say I would have preferred if they went fully cell shaded instead of just the characters. There's also quite a bit of cars in the game. I didn't count how many, but they're here, and they look pretty good too. Not Gran Turismo 7 good, but pretty close. Where's my Audi R8? Audi is not in the game at all. Neither is the Supra.
Whack.
Disappointing. At least I have the MX-5. Going into online was alright. It's completely separate from the single player, with you having to create a completely new character and car, and boy is the character creation basic. It's nothing special. You can't customize the specifics of their face like eye distance, nose size, and all that stuff, but you can change stuff like skin color, facial hair, and hair. But the hair color is pretty confusing because changing the hair color is changing the roots, while hair dye changes the top, and it just throws me off every time. The clothes you can get are also just basic and meh. I didn't spend too much customizing my character, but online is pretty much the same as single player free roam, except you can join other people's races and race real people. Or you could start one on your own, which automatically sends an invite to the whole lobby. These can go either way, honestly. I could never finished higher than 4th, and with rental cars, I always finished last. It just seems impossible to win with a rental, but back to the single player, I finally upgraded my MX-5 completely, as it says I can't upgrade it anymore because if I do, it'll be an A+ car, and I have no races to join with an A+ car, so we're going to the showdown to get our car back, boys. Nice EA. Yeah, go ahead, completely block my progress just because I'm playing the 10-hour trial. And I still have an hour and a half left. Well, yes, that's all I can do for now. With the 8.5 hours I spent on the game, it was fun. I liked it. It reminds me a lot of Midnight Club LA in some parts, and I have a love-hate relationship with that game. I was pleasantly surprised. The handling was good, the characters are likable, the graphics are pretty good too. Like here with the sunlight entering to the garage doors. I can't really comment much on the story because I just can't finish it, but so far, it's alright. I was definitely a little skeptical about it though, because your speed heat handling can be kind of garbage at points with you understeering everywhere, and well, because DA, which is why I went with the trial, but it's pretty good. So right now, I guess I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Oh dang, no, that's the rating I gave Gran Turismo 7. 7.9 out of 10. We gotta talk about the soundtrack. Straight up garbage. I turned that off. What happened to the great soundtracks of Underground and Carbon? A lot of racing game nowadays can't really get it right. It's all filled with rap or trap songs. Man, this stinks. Even in Burnout Paradise, a game you guys know I really like, has an okay soundtrack. Even Midnight Club LA doesn't have that great of a soundtrack, with only about 2 or 3 songs on there that I actually like. No, it's not just because it's rap or trap that I automatically dislike the soundtrack. It's not that. I actually do listen to some songs from Carbon, so it's not that it's just trap music. It's just not good. Uh-oh. Sounds like my cue, guys. Well, catch you guys on the...